Hello everybody, my name is Richard Vigorelli, this is Vigorelli Institute, and I have in my hand Dr. Strangelove. Classic movie. Let me see if I can get the year right. This is a Kubrick, meaning directed by Stanley Kubrick. Oh yes, same guy who directed The Shining. Sorry, I don't want to get sued. Anybody? No? Okay. Now, came out in 1964, Columbia Pictures. This is a movie, many people have called it satire, on the U.S. and USSR Cold War, okay? Which was active from about 1946, at the end of the Second World War, to 1989, I believe it was, when the Berlin Wall fell, and then shortly after, the entire Soviet Union dissolved. Well, it didn't completely dissolve. I mean, there's still a few countries that are still attached to Russia, but, you know, so it is. Anyway, it chronicles something of the Cold War turning hot. Okay, there's a couple of gunfights in it with, soldiers, and one of the generals, he is held up in his office with a guy from the RAF, and they're getting shot at, and they grab a minigun and just kind of start shooting back. Meanwhile, the RAF guy, that's Royal Air Force, he's going, well, oh my goodness, the standard British guy thing. Deciding to do the cliches. Anyway, the attack stops, and the American general goes into the bathroom, and the British guys continuing to go yabber, 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 and pop. American general is gone. By himself. Okay? Most of the story actually takes place in two locations. A bomber circling in Russia, USSR, and a war room, I believe, in the Pentagon. And they're trying to figure out what they're going to do if nukes are going to start happening or not. So they're sending codes back and forth and all of this, and there's a scene that's meant to be awkward. It is called Hello, Dimitri. At least that's what I'm calling it. And it's basically just this guy talking really stilted, 1950s style, very proper English, with Dimitri going, why, yes, Dimitri, I understand. No, Dimitri, I am sorry. You can't be more sorry than I am, Dimitri. Dimitri, going like that, you're just like, oh, dear Lord. Anyway. The Russian ambassador's there, and it's, give or take, halfway, two-thirds through the movie that we meet, and the title, Dr. Strangelove. See, Dr. Strangelove was a Nazi scientist, okay? And he was part of an actual project. It was called Project Paperclip, at the end of the Second World War, where the Americans, as they located guys, especially in southern Germany, Munich, for example, in Stuttgart, they would capture the Nazi scientists and interrogate them, get information out of them, and then say, tell you what, you defect to our side, we won't do bad things to you, send you to meet your God. Okay? Like, why, yes, that sounds wonderful, sir. So this guy defects to the Americans and becomes a citizen. However, there is a very memorable scene where he keeps shooting Nazi salutes. And he's trying to get his hand to stop like it's possessed. And his hand behaves like it's possessed. He says, I'm sorry, my right arm is still a Nazi. It's meant to be funny. I'm sure in the 60s it was. I got a little bit of a chuckle. Okay. This is what is known as a dark comedy. It's even on the back Stanley Kubrick celebrated black comedy classic about an accidental nuclear attack was nominated for the 1964 Academy Awards. Created during a time when paranoia for the Cold War was at its peak, the film still seems surprisingly relevant today. Convinced the commies are polluting America's precious bodily fluids, a crazed general orders a surprise nuclear attack strike on the USSR. His aide, Captain Mandrake, furiously attempts to figure out how to recall and stop the bombing. Meanwhile, the U.S. president gets on his hotline to convince the drunken Soviet premier that the impending attack is a silly mistake, while the president's advisor, an ex-Nazi scientist, Dr. Strangelove, confirms the existence of the dreaded doomsday machine, which is a secret Soviet retaliatory device guaranteed to end the human race once and for all. That's the entire plot of the movie. So, Dr. Strangelove, by the way, every single person I mentioned there, played by the same guy. Yeah, name's Peter Sellers. Way back when. Anyway, not important. So, it comes up at the end that the bombs start dropping, and Dr. Strangelove says, well, you know, we get a bunch of girls in here, and we can rebuild the human race that way. But we're going to be having to do a lot of, well, you know. They're like, really? Really? All right, then. And that's the end of the movie. I liked it. It's very 60s. It is all in monochrome, so there we are. And yeah, I can still see a lot of parallels today. I mean, say what you will, but things really haven't actually changed that much since the 60s. I hate to tell you. Okay? I'm not talking race religions. Meh. Okay? I'm talking style. I'm talking a lot of stuff. Okay? Americans are Americans. Russians are Russians, etc. Okay? Whether or not that's good or bad, that's up to you. So, when you look at historical movies like this, okay, meaning things that are classics, that are talking about stuff that is going on when the movie happens, the reason why we've still been the reason why we've been talking about this for so long is because it's still relevant. Okay? In 100 years, this might be considered a quaint little amusement. Okay? That look at those silly people. The old generations, what they thought. How absurd. So, by the way, the whole corruption of bodily fluids, fluoridation, meaning putting fluoride, not Florida, fluoride in the water. I'll just leave that there. So, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. Feel free to leave a comment. Thank you kindly. Feel free to yell at me. It's fine. Also, link in the description to my website, vimandvigorelli.com, books, merchandise. Also, if you're in the Nashville area, I'll take you on a ghost tour. Okay? Follow me on Twitter. You take care. Bye-bye.